edit, looking at some of our products we bought on Christmas. We are going to be looking through the Summoners Dominant subclass book once again from Net19 Crew / Logan Laidlaw on DrivethroughRPG. And we will be reviewing them, this time more specifically the subclasses we didn't cover last stream, which are Bard, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard, which means a lot of reading to be done. But we are indeed live on the stream of lives. And I think everything is going well. Let me just put that we are streaming on the Discord, and we will be good to begin. Put that we are streaming more of the subclass back. Yeah, we're here and we are ready to begin. Welcome everyone. Once again, if you're new here, my name is Matt. You can call me Nefaltomar, as you can see on Twitch, but you can also call me Matt, or whichever name you wish. I don't mind. I will know you're talking to me because you're on my stream. If you wish to know where the music is coming from, is from the new A Very Lo-Fi Christmas from Harris Heller on Spotify. You can just search for Stream Beats or Harris Heller and you will find it. All his music is DMCA free, which is why I am using it. So yeah, let us begin, shall we? Exchange here to BDFC, and as you can see, let me go back here. As you can see on Twitch, and I think on YouTube as well, we now have a new overlay thingy. We have over here is for subscribers, but it doesn't work on YouTube, so it's Twitch subscribers, which won't happen for a while. Over here we have recent followers. The name will show up here, and that he is just as recent followers. Down here is my Twitter. If you wish to go follow it, I would very much appreciate it. Here's my Twitch name. It doesn't have the Twitch logo, it's just my name. And over here is the YouTube channel, where all the live streams will be. All the lives will be there after they are rendered by YouTube, and where we will post videos as well. I know it's the 29th of this year, but I still intend on at least publishing one video, just a welcome video to show what we do, what we like to talk about, and what possible videos we'll have in the future, which will be game dev related things about my personal projects, maybe dev diaries, I don't know, that seems a bit far-fetched for now. And on the other hand, we'll also have some D&D videos about things I did, things I've done, about my campaigns. The campaigns will be running here. The campaign, not this. We don't know if it will be a campaign plural yet, just a campaign that we will have here starting next year, somewhere in January maybe, early February. I hope we'll also be talking about products like these ones that we acquire and things that we do for our own, especially things for the game, because I already have some interesting ideas, if I do say so myself. So yeah, let us then move to the PDF screen where we can talk about the product we bought. So let us go in order, and the first one of them is the Bard, College of Drifting Echoes. Let's see what this is all about. The College of Drifting Echoes includes bards who use their magic to dip into dreams and create vivid visualizations using their magic and music combined. Okay. Deep into dreams and create vivid visualizations. I think there will be some kind of illusion magic here at play. They specialize in making the line between reality and subconscious blur, causing the world to seem to others to be airy and light. Yep, this is illusion for sure. They may be those who were taught by faith or from spirits that reside within dreams themselves. This I have a character in one of my campaigns that literally comes from the plane of dreams. If they were a bard, this would be like them. This would be their class. They usually use their magic to help others relax and experience waking dreams, or to cause hostile creatures to become unclear about if what they are fighting is real or not. Okay. Bonus proficiency, Drifting Echoes. Starting at 3rd level, you have proficiency in stealth checks and charisma deception checks. Okay. You are blurring the line, so you're stealthy, and you're trying to make people not believe things. Deception. Good. Shimmering Note. Starting at 3rd level, when you're targeted by an attack roll, you may use a reaction to cause your form to become hazy and cloud-like. You spend on use of Bardic Inspiration, added the result to your armor class. So this is like a shield. It's like the shield spell, but for bards. It's at 3rd level, this class is very selfish because you gain proficiencies, which are things you do, and you gain another use of your Bardic Inspiration for yourself. It's interesting because I think Bardic Inspirations go up to D12, D6, D8, D10, D12. So adding D12 AC on a reaction is incredible. Let's see what else we have. Fount of Delucidation. Starting at 6th level, whenever a creature is benefiting from your Bardic Inspiration but has not used it yet, their body is protected by an illusion that makes them seem semi-solid, as if they were made of multicolored smoke, and their exact location is hard to discern. During this time, they are treated as if they were under the effect of the blur spell. Huh? What? What do you mean? Okay. This is no longer a selfish class. Now this is a selfless class. If you... Because, for example, we have a party of 3 people, and you make them all be blurred? What? And it, Bardic Inspiration I think lasts for 10 minutes, while Blur lasts for 1. So yeah, the fact that you can do it freely is kind of bonkers. Because you can just blur your whole squad, and they don't even need to use their Bardic Inspiration unless it's truly necessary. They can just be blurred. No, I'm not gonna use this D6, this D8 you gave me. No, I am going to be blurred. This effect is lost if the creature takes damage from a weapon or a spell attack, but resumes at the start of the creature's next turn, as long as they have the Bardic Inspiration. Yeah, it's like the the displacer cloak, that everything that hits you has disadvantage until it hits. Then it only starts again at the beginning of your next turn. So yeah, why not? Level 14? Holy shit, that's a page and a half of stuff. Starting at 14th, Drifting Apparition. Starting at 14th level, you can weave together your magical energies and visualization into a perfect clone of yourself that appears from shimmering mist and has an ethereal semi-solid appearance, with their form constantly giving off shimmering cold-like aura. So you have a small child, a small child of yourself to take care of. Neat. As an action, you can manifest a drifting apparition to an unoccupied space within 10 feet of yourself for a minute. And you may immediately take 10 feet of its own movement that does not count against your own. So you can plop them down 10 feet, they walk 10 feet. Okay. As an action, you may manifest it once for a long rest without cost, but if your drifting apparition disappears or is dismissed, you must expend one of your bardic inspiration to manifest it again. So all of the features is bardic inspiration based. Interesting. You have a lot of decisions to make. The drifting apparition shares your current and maximum hit points and has all of your magic items and equipment. Damage and adjustments to its hit point is reflected in your current hit point and vice versa. If its statistics are identical to yours, then the magical effect that affects one of you, affects both, as if you were the same creature. If you're poisoned, they both are poisoned, but the thing is, if you haste yourself, you haste them, which means double casting. As long as you have your drifting apparition conjured, both you and it have resistance to all damage except the psychic and force. Oh, holy, okay, you just become Bear Totem Barbarian at 14th level for a minute. Freely, okay. You see through the senses of both yourself and your drifting apparition at the same time. That's a confusion. That is a confusion waiting to happen. You're just looking at something and your apparition is looking behind you and you're just like, what is reality? On your turn, you can move both yourself and your drifting apparition, but both movements count against your movement speed. Your drifting apparition can move an extra 10 feet on its own each round that does not count against your movement. Okay, so if you have 30 movement, you can only move 15, but then the apparition can move 10 feet. So it can move 25 and you can move 15. You and your drifting apparition share your actions. If one of you uses any kind of action, the other is considered to also have taken that type of action this turn. Your drifting apparition can make one extra attack each round that does not count against your action. So if you can't like cast 2 spells, but you can cast a spell and do an attack. So you can like haste it, and then you can attack an attack, which is interesting because now you're also hasted. You can cast a cantrip with your hasted action, which is also very interesting. Actually, you can just haste yourself, attack, and then your hasted apparition makes this special attack, and then it hasted attack, which means 3 attacks, and a spell on a turn. Wow. If an effect targets both you and your drifting apparition simultaneously, it can only affect one of you with damage resulting from the effect. If the effect calls for a strength, constitution, or dexterity saving throw, and targets both you and your drifting apparition, you make the saving throw with disadvantage. Also, because your physical stats are divided. So you have to... So you are not as strong to take it. Interesting. I like it. If either of you uses any consumable magic items on your person, the item vanishes from the other as well, as if the other instance were only an illusion. there's two people drinking a potion, one throws it on the ground, the other just poof. If you use an item on effect that has allotments, charges, or other expendable resources, then use this count against both instances of the item. If you or your drifting apparition takes hold of an object that is handheld or smaller, it can be passed between both of you across distances as far as 500 feet as an interaction. Oh, that is very interesting. You can just steal coins, throw coins back. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's interesting. You may use your reaction at any time to dismiss it. If you do this in response to an attack being made against them, or an effect targeting them that requires a saving throw, the effect resolves harmlessly, unless the real you is within the area of effect. If you fall unconscious, your apparition becomes inert and takes no actions, and each round at the start of your turn, you must succeed a wisdom saving throw, or it vanishes and the effect ends. Okay. So at the start of your turn, you make a death save, and then this. And if you fail this, it goes away. And then you have to wait for a long rest again. If a creature causes a critical hit against you or your drifting apparition, you must roll a Constitution saving throw as if concentrating on a spell, and in the effect of dispelling the drifting apparition on a failure. The DC is 14, all the damage you took from the attack. So this is basically what should I call it? This is basically a copy of yourself that brings more issues to yourself than positive things. The positive is it's another thing that can be targeted by enemies. Neat. It takes but at the same time, if it gets hit, you get hit as well. But you have resistance to all the damage. An interesting combination. At the same time, they can make one extra attack. Always. Okay. Which means that if you're playing like a bard that is in melee, you could like attack, and attack with your one hand, attack with your offhand, then the apparition makes another attack, so that's 3 attacks. So like at the same time you could haste yourself, and you gain 3 attacks, the apparition gains 2 attacks. Maybe, I don't know if the hasted action is counted. Where is it? Drifting actions. Yeah, so like you can't even use your hasted action, because then the apparition won't be able to use the hasted action. The apparition is literally there to give you resistance and do a single stab at a time. Stab. That's it. That's a big ass text for a single stab extra each turn. And resistance to all damage. Okay. I like the level 3 and the level 6. Level 14 is kind of meh. But yeah, the level 6 is very powerful. And the level 3 can be powerful if you roll high. When you start the game, you have 1 in 6 chance. At level 3, you have a 1 in 6 chance of being better than shield. When it goes to a D8, you have 2 in 8 chance of being better than a shield. 3 in 8 chance of being better than a shield. 6, 7, 8. When it goes to D10, you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have 50% chance of being better than shield. And at D12, you have 60% chance of being better than shield. Not 60, but like 6 in 12. 6 in 12? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 6 and 12. So it's 50% chance of being better than a shield. Interesting. This tells me that this class is supposed to be melee. So the resistance is very nice, the resistance to all damage, and the extra attack is nice. Especially if you're using flanking rules, you can just flank with yourself, which is neat. I can see where this is going, but unless you can like Bardic Inspiration, if you Bardic Inspiration yourself, then use this, you are both blurred. Disadvantage on attack rolls, which means they will be hitting less, and you have resistance to it, unless it's psychic and force, but I don't believe there's a psychic or force spell or ability that requires an attack roll. So yeah, this can be decently good in melee. I don't think it will be as good as a Valor or Swords Bard in melee, but it's interesting. Cleric, Stillness Domain. Clerics of the Stillness Domain are those who value peace, meditation, and purity. Their souls are stilled, and they follow gods who do not interfere with the world unless they must. They can come across as stoic and detached, and often as they increase their divine powers, they can seem inhuman or mechanical. They spend their energy trying to combat the forces of chaos and allow the world to function in its natural state. The concepts of law and human justice mean little to them by comparison. The song is louder than my voice? Really? It's like at 6? Wait, no, wrong button. I'm gonna go here. Okay. I may have adjusted it. I don't know. Please let me know how it's going. I need to change something here in OBS because the scale of the messages is too small. I can't read them properly. That was in volume. Maybe turn it down a bit. I don't know. It's the same volume now, so I guess it's fine. I hope it's fine. On Spotify, it's already way down. I can just put it lower, but then I'm not even hearing it anymore. Is it even getting out on stream? Is it like at 4 on the computer and like less than 50%? What? Okay. I can't hear it, but if you can, it's fine. Okay, let's see what the main spells of the Stillness Domain. First level, comprehend languages and discern whispers. Okay. Calm emotions and gentle repose. Gentle repose is interesting because it's stillness. Like they can just let the creature, target person, lay there for a moment. Feign death is also interesting. Slow is everybody freeze. Greater invisibility. Okay. Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum. Private Sanctum makes sense because they are providing a place to stay. Greater Restoration, Wall of Force. Wall of Force also makes sense because they're stopping people. But then greater invisibility and greater restoration, I don't know if it makes that much sense. Mental Palace, the first level feature. Starting at first level, when you take a short or long rest, you can engage in an exercise that allows you to create a visualization within your own mind that takes the form of a place, warehouse, or any other location where things may be hidden and found. Using it as a tool to navigate your mind, you can perfectly recall any information you have learned, even physical sensations and complex patterns. Remembering a scene you were involved in, you may freely wander around the scenery, but only can interact with details you knew about. You must spend at least 1 hour unconscious to use this feature. So you can revisit situations? and look at them from another angle. This is interesting. You can just recall that you can recall that meeting you had with the king, for example, in the throne room, and then you can like look up and see that there was someone there staring at you the whole time. Or is it the part that can only interact with details you knew about? So if you look up and there was someone there, but you don't know about it, but can you see them? I would like more explanation about this. Zero Karma. Starting at first level, you can negate the detection of your soul and body. When an effect targeting you, or including you, requires you to be of a particular alignment or creature type, you may choose to not be included in the effect, unless that effect targets humanoids in general. I was about to say, hold person, you can negate it? No, you cannot. You're immune to detection by divination school spells except scrying, and when someone attempts to find you through scrying, you will always roll the saving throw against it as if the creature only knows you secondhand. It does not know your likeness or possess anything from you that would benefit their attempt. So you're always rolling the scrying at a +5, which is very nice. And I mean, you're a level 1. No one is going to be scrying at a level 1 party. But yeah, you can, when it starts to become a valuable resource, it is very powerful because you're immune to everything except scrying, and you always roll well in scrying because you always have the +5. And I think scrying is wisdom, so you're a cleric, so you have proficiency. Very nice. It will be extremely hard to see you through scrying. The first couple tries they do, at whichever person is trying to scry on your party, they will probably jump to the next target and scry on another person that is around you. Channel Divinity, Stillness. Starting at 2nd level, you can use a Channel Divinity as a bonus action to enter into a temporary state of heightened awareness to dodge and weave around difficulties. For 1 minute, you move with the utmost care and are lightened by divine magic. Your base movement speed during this time increases by 10 feet, and you provoke no opportunity attacks from enemies unless they have dealt you weapon damage since the end of your last turn. So if something gets close to you but hasn't attacked you, you move away freely. If they have attacked you, you provoke normal opportunity attacks. While moving this way, you also do not suffer reduced speed from difficult terrain. During this minute, you also have advantage on all dexterity-based ability checks. You are Zen, and when you are Zen, nothing can hit you. Interesting. Channel Entropy, starting at 6th level. When you use your Turn Undead feature, any undead who is stunned by you is also paralyzed if you wish them to be. They stop being paralyzed whenever they would stop being turned, such as when they take damage. Which is interesting because it's like the intro cinematic for Critical Role, when Caduceus just slams his staff down and all the zombies around become fungus. That would be like this. You cast your Turn Undead, instead they are just there, stuck, which is very interesting. And also paralyzed is a guaranteed crit in melee, so if you're going to kill the undead anyway, that's interesting. That is flavorful and powerful. Both are very good. Enervating Smite. Starting at 6th level, whenever you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you may choose to expand a spell slot to make it an Enervating Smite. When you do, you spend a spell slot of 1st level or higher. Your attack deals extra psychic damage equal to 2d8 plus the level of the spell slot. Why are you giving a full caster a smite? Why? Why is this man so crazy? You're giving a full caster Divine Smite. Yeah, it's psychic damage, which is worse because now they they are resisted less than radiant damage, and at the same time, yeah, they deal less damage. So if they are doing 9th level spell slot, they do 2d8 plus 9, but it's extra damage that they can do a bajillion times. That is a lot of times. A creature hit by an unnervating smite must make a wisdom saving throw, and if it fails, can move only up to half their movement speed on the next turn, cannot make more than one attack, even if they have features like extra attack or multi-attack. The target creature is benefiting from any ongoing magical effects that increase their movement speed, or allows them to take extra the dash sentencing. To take extra the dash or disengage actions, those effects, and all other benefits from those magical effects, and immediately. This is an anti-haste bot. You touch a person and they get unhasted. So yeah, this is the anti-haste. You smack someone and destroy their haste, or their which spell is that? The Expeditious Retreat is also countered by this Enervating Smite. If an effect was from a magic item or permanent source, they may repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns and regain the benefits of the magical effect in a successful save. So if they have an item that gives them haste, for example the Potion of Haste, they can keep trying to get it back, which is interesting. Level 8, Lock Mind. Also, this Unnervating Smite comes 2 levels earlier than the normal 8th level feature that allows clerics to deal extra damage on their attacks or deal extra damage on their cantrips. 2 levels earlier. Lock Mind. Starting at 8th level, you have learned techniques and methods to protect your mind from outside invasion. You have advantage on all intelligence saving throws and are immune to any effects that would alter or modify your memories. Additionally, you automatically succeed your saving throw when targeted by the Dominate person, Dominate monster, or slow spells. Interesting. Automatically succeed against slow. It's very good. And advantage on all intelligence saves. So like you can't be feeble-minded. I think feeble-minded isn't. Oh god, why did I do that? I think intelligence saving throw is feeble-mind, and the Mind Flayer's abilities. So yeah, let me just move this cord out of this screen so I can properly look at it without distracting all the people. Okay. Also, yeah, when you benefit from the effect of haste spell and it ends, you do not suffer the turn of exhaustion, which is a very nice side effect, but you don't have haste. I don't think haste is on the cleric spell list by nature, which means that you would need another fullcaster to haste you, or have an item that hastes you. But yeah, this is a very neat feature. You have precise movement, precise control of your body and movement. A moment in time. Starting at 17th level, your body reaches a state of perfect tranquility. No longer age, nor do you suffer the effects of old age on your body. You can still die of old age, but only after twice your usual lifespan, up to a maximum of 500 extra years. So if you're your usual lifespan, for example, for an elf is 700, you can't live to 1400, you will live to 1200. Good, neat. You're capable of allowing yourself to continue aging physically if you wish to. I am an old man, just because I want to be. You're still susceptible to the effect of aging by magic or magical items that would affect your age, but you cannot die from being magically aged. Okay. If you wish it to, any effect that reduces your age reduces it by twice the usual amount. So yeah, if you for some reason is a 17th level Stillness Cleric and first level Wild Magic Sorcerer, you can't go down in age or up in age. You can go up in age, but not down as much. Interesting. This is a cleric that I don't think, besides the extra smiting all the time, this is a very good cleric. I like it a lot. I would use this cleric. Maybe with some clarification with the DM about this part here, the mental palace. Because like really, being able to go back in a scene and look at it from a different perspective, depending on how long ago it was, your DM may be like, oh, I don't remember what happened there. Or like, I don't remember all the details. So yeah, it needs to be something, it needs not more limitations, but it needs a better explanation of what it specifically it does. Circle of Guardians. I had already seen this one because one of our possible players had said that they were interested in looking at and playing the Druid Circle of Guardians. So I already have an idea of what it does, but let's go through it again, shall we? Circle of Guardians. The Circle of Guardians is filled with druids who the land has chosen as protectors. Gifted their power by the skies, the oceans, and the earth, all of them, not or, and they are granted the means to protect the most sacred forests and natural sanctuaries of the world. Though their power may be seen as destructive and flies in the face of harmony, they are necessary fangs that bite back against everything that is abhorrent and outside the natural order. This is this is your normal druid. This is the druid that thinks that they are a protector of all nature, and then they play Wildfire and cast Fireball and destroy everything. I say that because I am playing that druid that has Wildfire and Fireball, because we are still using the UA version of it. Protection of the world, the second level feature. Starting at second level, the world offers you strength and protection so that you might more easily protect its lands. As long as you aren't wearing armor, your body takes in magical energy in the air, granting you skin that can harden like bark at the moment of physical trauma. While not wearing armor, you can add your wisdom modifier to your AC as if you weren't already, which means that you now have a type of unarmored defense as a druid, which is Dex and Wisdom. Neat! If bark skin is cast on you, your AC cannot be less than 14 plus your level, plus your wisdom modifier instead of 16. I don't know why I said level. 16, yeah. So which means if you have a +2 wisdom, which you probably have since you are a druid that casts spells with wisdom, your barks is the same as normal bark skin. But if you have a +3, +4, or +5, you are increasing your bark skin by quite a lot. Yeah. Instead of casting bark skin and having 16 AC, you can cast bark skin and have 19 AC. At the same time, if I don't recall if bark skin has any other thing besides AC, but if you have a 20 Dex and a 20 if you have a 18 Dex and a 20 Wisdom, or vice versa, you using bark skin or not will give you the same AC. But if you have 20 in both, Bark Skin will give you 1 less AC. So yeah, you can use Bark Skin for a long time until you finally have 220s. Power of the Earth. At second level, you add the Eldritch Blast cantrip to your spell list. Okay, and it counts as a druid spell for you. Your version of Eldritch Blast deals acid damage instead of force, as the blasts are infused with magical energy and wreathed in corrosive mist. Okay, this is a good way to make sure your druid will keep up in damage. But acid, I don't know. Acid is not really a very used damage type. At least I can't recall any of my players ever using something that used acid damage besides the very occasional acid splash that was used once by a warlock when they faced Helmet Horror, because Helmet Horrors have resistance to force damage, so they couldn't use Eldritch Blast, so they used acid splash. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting way to bring a new damage type to the game. An Eldritch Blast that deals acid damage. And reminder, as this is not a warlock, they cannot use all the fancy features of Eldritch Blast. It's just a cantrip that deals 1d10, and that will give you 4 attacks later on with the same action that deals a single d10 of acid damage. Interesting. Anger of the Oceans. The first one was the Earth, the second one is the Oceans. Starting at 6th level, you are granted a core of magical energy that remains inside you, coming out when you require it to strike down all that which the will of nature rejects. Some wording gets me sometimes. You have advantage on attack rolls made against monstrosities, aberrations, constructs, and undead. This is probably the most powerful thing in the subclass from what I remember. The fact that you can just have advantage all the time against everything. Because like monstrosities come up a lot. Constructs are relatively common, golems and stuffs like that. Undead is ever present, and aberrations there is always the occasional beholder, aboleth. So yeah, this is very strong. These creatures also have disadvantages on saving throws against spells you cast. Wow. Wow. So you can polymorph Beholder without repercussions, because they will have disadvantage on it, which is wow. When you hit any of these creatures with a spell or attack that deals damage, you deal an extra d4 plus your wisdom modifier. If a spell would have multiple targets, this extra damage is only applied to one of them, your choice. So yeah, your Eldritch Blasts are doing something else, because if you hit with your Eldritch Blast 2 times, you're dealing 2d4 plus twice your wisdom modifier as extra damage, which is nice. The extra damage increases to d6 at 9th, a d8 at 13th, and a d10 at 16th. So at 16th level, you have 3 beams of your Eldritch Blast. So if you're targeting a monstrosity, aberration, construct, or undead, you have advantage on the attack roll. You deal 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier as damage, which means that when you are fighting one of these, monstrosity, aberration, construct, and undead, as a druid, you have a better Eldritch Blast than the Eldritch Blast class, simply because of this extra damage. I mean, yeah, it's a specific situation where you're fighting specific types of monsters, that are against the natural order, yeah, you are very powerful against them. This is like a mini smites for the paladin against undeads and fiends. I like it. It's strong as fuck, yes, but I like it. Blood of the Sky. Starting at 10th level, your blood has become dangerous when spilled. Unless you choose it not to be the case, when a creature makes a melee attack against you and deals damage, they are splashed with your blood and take 1d4 acid damage as if it were corrosive to them. It is magically tuned to only harm the creature who spilled it. So they cut, and then the blood, instead of splashing, the blood converges on the creature. Interesting. When you reach 15th level, it goes up to d8. Neat. Additionally, you gain resistance to piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning damage from non-magical weapons. You are becoming a tanky boy, as if you weren't already with your high AC. When you take damage, your body regains the process of regeneration for a brief period of time if you choose to allow it. You start to regenerate, regaining an amount of hit points at the start of your turn equal to your Constitution modifier plus half your Druid level, which means that this class has three different things that they should be leveling up: Wisdom, Dexterity for the extra armor class, and Constitution for this thing. So if for some reason you have 3 20s and you are 20th level, you can recover at the beginning of each of your turns, if you choose to start your regeneration, 15 hit points. They are not temporary, they are your hit points. This is healing. This effect lasts for 1 minute or until you take damage from a silvered weapon, in which case you make a Constitution saving throw with a DC equal to the damage taken, not half the damage taken, like a concentration, equal to the damage taken, ending your regeneration on a failure. Okay. Ending your regeneration on a failure is quite strong. If you take necrotic damage, your regeneration is skipped. Once you use the regenerative feature, you cannot use it again until you complete a long rest. So, the only way to stop you from using it is to hit you with a silvered weapon and make you fail the Constitution saving throw. But you can also just keep casting Chill Touch and the creature will have problems, and the druid will have problems regening. So yeah, either necrotic damage or Chill Touch just to keep them in check, because it's stronger than Vampire's Spawn regenerative ability if you have a +5 con. Actually, if you have a +1 con at level 20, it is stronger than a Vampire Spawn, but weaker than True Vampire. Neat. It's very powerful regen for a minute, and it does not say that you need to start your turn with HP, which means that this is an I will not die feature. Because you start your turn, you regain, so you regain some hit points. You don't have to roll death saves. You're back. It's quite awesome. Wrath of the Heavens. Starting at 14th level, you soak up magical energy from the world around you and store it. As an action on your turn, you can unleash it, projecting it into up to 6 creatures that you choose within 50 feet of you that you can see, which can include yourself. Those creatures are bolstered by the wrath of nature, imbued with energies that would allow them to strike back against its enemies. Those creatures gain a +2 bonus to AC for a minute. During that time, they deal an additional 1d10 force damage on all weapon attacks they make, the first of which on each of their turns has advantage. Sadly, for yourself, this is weapon attacks. which means that you cannot use your Eldritch Blast. Because if you could, you would be dealing 3d10 damage per Eldritch Blast against these specific creature types. They gain temporary hit points, equal to half your druid level, your wisdom plus your wisdom modifier, and for the minute they have this bonus, they can move through non-magical difficult terrain as if it were regular terrain. Okay, so the normal hit points that you are getting from your Blood of the Sky, they would be getting as temporary hit points, so you can just keep rezzing your party. Finally, during this minute, they are immune to acid and poison damage, and anytime they make a Constitution saving throw, they roll 1d8 and add it to the result. Creatures cannot benefit from this feature from more than one sorcerer at a time, which means that you can't have 2 level 14 Guardian Druids just keeping this spell up so that the people be getting a lot of bonuses. So yeah, they add an d8 to Constitution saving throws and immune to acid and poison. You can use this feature once per long rest. Okay, this seems quite interesting. When I first read it, because as I said, oh, Shady, you just appeared. I was literally going to talk about you right now, right on this second. As I said, the Shade here on chat had already sent me the Guardians, and at first sight I thought they were much more powerful than I think they truly are. They are still very strong, and but I think that most of their really overpowered things come at very high levels. I think that Power of the Earth, Protection from the World, and Anger of the Oceans are all very good features, yes, but the part that really sets this druid apart from all other druids is the Blood of the Sky and the Wrath of the Heavens. Being able to heal yourself, not THP, heal yourself every turn for a Constitution modifier plus half a druid level is a lot. The reaction to the damage is fine, which happens every time. It's not a reaction actually, so it's a reaction on the literal definition of a reaction, not on a D&D 5e reaction, to just keep doing damage to everything that hits you, and your AC is higher, and you have resistances that starts to stack up, and every time they get any hit on, you can just heal it back on your turn. This actually makes them a more capable fighter than a barbarian, because they keep healing, and they have a higher AC if they use Bark Skin than a normal barbarian would have. And Wrath of the Heavens gains a +2 AC on top of that, meaning that a 20 Dex, 20 Wiz can go up to 22, or if you're using Bark Skin because you don't have 20 Dex, it can go up to 21 AC for you, and you can just use Bark Skin, then you use this, then you Wild Shape, and then you are a bear with 21 AC that deals extra D10 force damage on weapon attacks, and you keep getting temporary hit points on top of your regenerative HP. You can be, you would get, if you had max con and max wisdom, you would be getting 15 hit points back at the same time that you would be getting 15 temporary hit points on top of that. So yeah, I think the Wrath of the Heavens plus Blood of the Sky is extremely strong. Power of the Earth, Anger of the Oceans, and Protection from the World are strong, but not so strong. So yeah, this class is, as most Logan stuff, a bit over the normal curve for druids, I'd say, from what I remember of the druid classes. I haven't been able to take a full look on the Wildfire and the Stars druid, but this one seems a bit more overpowered. Not broken, just overpowered. But it's a fine class if Shade wishes to use it in the game. Fighter Brawler. Oh yeah, I haven't looked at this fighter. I have looked at the other two fighters. Fighter Brawler. Hand-to-hand fighter who relies on their own strength over swords and spears. They specialize in physical combat techniques that pin down and immobilize opponents, shifting their focus. They are never unarmed as long as they have their hands and feet. It's that, you guys probably seen it, is that comic strip of a monk walking into town and saying, "Oh, go ahead, disarm me, there's nothing you can do." And then the next panel is just the fighter rolling them over on a wheelchair without their arms and their feet. They were chopped off. And the fighter just saying, "Don't worry, they will put it back after we leave town." So yeah, they would need to do the same for this fighter as well. Knuckle to Knuckle. Starting at 3rd level, when you take this archetype, you learn to use your body more effectively in combat. Your kicks, punches, and feats of strength are considered more lethal, where unarmed attack now deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage and also counts as weapons with the light and finesse properties. You can make an offhand attack before an unarmed strike if you so choose to, even if your first attack is also with an unarmed strike. Yeah, that's what light and finesse would do. You can make one, then bonus action make another. When you make an offhand attack with your unarmed strike, you may still add your ability modifier to the damage, which means that you don't need to take 2-weapon fighting to be good at 2-weapon fighting, which is supposed to be the thing. Oh, Shade asked the question. Figured I'd ask on one bit of wording for the adding wisdom. Would that stack with mage armor for the guardian druid? No. No, I think no. While not wearing armor, you can add your wisdom modifier to your AC if you weren't already. I would say, oh god, my mic just beeped really hard. I'm sorry. But yeah, what I would say is that Protection of the World would not stack with mage armor because it says here that while not wearing armor, and mage armor is technically armor, I think. That's why they add this part while not wearing armor, to stop people from using mage armor on a barbarian or on a monk. But yeah, that's even if it isn't how it should be done, I would do that in my game. Okay, let's continue reading this. Your damage for your unarmed strike increases. Yeah, okay. So you have monk. I think you're stronger at punching than a monk as a fighter, which is always sad when people give more damage to unarmed strikes of other classes than monks. I think monks starts at a d4, d6, d8, d10. So as soon as you start it with a d6, it goes up to d12, the monk is just crying. Please give me something. Any weapon that possesses the Knuckles property may benefit from any of the changes made to your unarmed strikes by this archetype feature. The damage of the weapon can be replaced with your unarmed strike if it's higher. If a weapon with the Knuckles property also has the heavy or two-handed property, it cannot be treated as a light weapon, and you cannot make a bonus attack with it unless your other attacks are with a different weapon. Makes sense, just the wording had been evading since it wasn't a proper AC calculation. Yeah, it should be worded as you can, as a unarmed armor class? What's it called? An armored defense feature. And have a calculation be 10 plus dexterity modifier plus wisdom modifier, just to stop this wording misunderstanding. But this part here got me confused. If a weapon with the Knuckles property also has the heavy or two-handed property, it cannot be treated as a light weapon, and you cannot make a bonus attack with it. Oh, so you have a heavy knuckle? Like a big metal gauntlet? You can't do it twice. Okay. Overwhelming strength. Starting at 7th level, your unarmed strike is counted as magical for the sake of overcoming damage resistance. When you try to shove a creature that is your size or smaller and succeed, you may perform a throwing technique to drive them into the ground with more force, dealing bludgeoning damage to them equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier. So instead of just pushing people, you are punching them to the ground, which is cooler. Expert Combat Strategy. Starting at 10th level, when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you may choose to give up one of your other attacks that you would gain through your extra attack feature. If you do, you may perform one of the following on the creature you hit. Okay, exchange attack for special effects. Just blow back. The target is pushed 15 feet away from you. No save. God damn it. Why do people keep pushing things around without saves? Saves are supposed to save you from being pushed around. If the creature hits a wall or anything solid enough to stop them, both they and the object creature they hit take 1d6 damage. For each size category the creature is larger than you, they are blown back 5 feet fewer, but the damage die increases by 1d4 for each size category as well. So 15 feet. If they are large, it's 10 feet. If they are huge, it's 5 feet. So if you are right next to a wall and you push a huge creature 5 feet back, they would hit the wall. Yeah. They would hit the wall. They would take a d6 plus a d4 plus a d4 of damage of a single attack without save. Yeah, it's sacrificing an attack, but being pushed around, why instead of sacrificing, you just add the damage, and then if they fail, they are pushed. Instead of you need to push, then hit the wall, and without any saves. Because like, yeah, this is supposed to be used against the wall, but if you use this on a cliff, this is a guaranteed kill. Depending on the size of the cliff and if the creature has fly or not. But this is like a punch and you're dead. Distracting blow. The creature is knocked off center and cannot take opportunity attacks. Okay, you do a little telephone move and they get confused. Okay. Double down. You keep the creature within your sights. If the creature attempts to move out of your attack range anytime before the start of your next turn, you may make one opportunity attack without expending your reaction. Okay. If you hit, the target's move speed is halved. So you punch them on when they are leaving and they almost fall and then they can't move as fast. Okay. Pin down, you automatically grapple the creature until the start of your next turn. This only works if the creature is one size category larger than you or smaller. You can pin down an ogre, but you can't pin down a giant. And shake the fence. Any creature that attacks the creature, and it should be target on the second one. Any creature that attacks the target until the start of their next turn have advantage on attack rolls. Okay? So you can, if you are in a 1v1 scenario, on your first turn, you punch, shake the fence, bonus action punch, then on your next turn, you action surge. To the start of the next turn. Actually, you can't. You need to punch, shake the fence, bonus action punch, action surge, and to have all the extra 2 attacks for your to have advantage on the attack. Okay. Weave and strike. Starting at 15th level, when you use their action surge, you can move an additional 15 feet, and your next unarmed strike is automatically a critical hit if it hits. Okay, if it misses, subsequent attacks do not gain this benefit. Interesting. So you can combine this with your you can combine this with your shake defense. So at 15th level you have 3 attacks plus your bonus action attack, which means first attack, hit, shake defense. All your attacks have advantage. Third attack, bonus action attack, action surge, crit. Second attack of the action surge, third attack of the action surge. That's a lot. But it's also a single time. If you some reason miss with advantage, it's gone. And thick skin. Starting at 18th level, your history of hand-to-hand combat has left you toughened and resistant. You have resistance against all bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage. Neat. This class is very neat. If I would DM this, I would just change the blowback to always deal extra damage, especially against bigger creatures, but at the same time have a save before moving. That would be it. The class is amazing without it. And also, if there was a monk in the party, I would change the unarmed strike to deal d4, d8, d10, d4, d6, d8, d10 instead of being better than a monk, because you already make more attacks than a monk at high levels. So why? But yeah, that would be the only thing that I would change. Oh, some brawler weapons here. The following weapons are meant to support characters who want to fight hand in hand. They represent reinforced knuckles built into gloves, worn by grasping them in one's fist, or full-arm gauntlets that make use of something. The sentence here does not end. I don't know why, but it does not end. Also, I think my mic is peaking a lot. I'm going to try to lower it just a bit, so it doesn't peak as hard as it was peaking before. Okay. Combat knuckles. These knuckles are grasped in the fist and emerge between the user's fingers, or cover their knuckles. They can also be made as part of one's existing gloves if sewn in properly. Okay. Brawler's equipment. Oh yeah, that's just the name of the table. Okay. They do 1d4 bludgeoning damage, they light, they knuckles. Okay, and they cost 10 GB. Combat gauntlets. Combat gauntlets cover most of the forearm and hands, but are constructed in such a way as to reduce damage to one's own hands while striking and maximizing the damage of physical attacks. They deal d6, can be used as versatile and as two-handed. If this weapon is being wielded one-handed, might be a bit biased, but the broadcast is really neat. I see what you did there, you player of the brawler servant. And yeah, and also Tauntia, because Tauntia is Punchy Girl and she's amazing. If this weapon is being wielded one-handed, it represents using both fists with more dexterity. When fighting like this, the weapon can be treated as if it were two weapons for the sake of making a second attack with it as a bonus action, and is not considered to have the two-handed property in its case. If it's being used with both hands to deal d8 damage, it represents using it for harder hitting attacks, and it's not considered to have the light property, it does not count as two weapons. So you can either go punchy or you can just hold both of your hands and punch down to deal extra damages. Okay. We saw the Red Lion Knight, we saw the Way of the Blue Metal, all the techniques, we saw the Monk, Twisted Hound, and now Paladin, Oath of Authority. Authority. Let's see what we have here on the Oath of Authority. Paladins who wish to become integral to the well-being of their country may find themselves taking up the oath of authority. In doing so, they swear to ingratiate themselves with a king, queen, or ruler who has some sway in a community. Many paladins who take this oath swear to serve as bodyguards or the right-hand man of their liege. It is within their interests to ensure their voice is heard and that ruler stays on the path of goodness and treats their people and country with due respect. Interesting. Oops, wrong button. This button. Tenants. English, why you escape me? Tenets of authority. Paladins who take the oath of authority express their fealty differently, but all agree on at least several of these core principles. Responsibility. Remember the power you hold and do not abuse it. You are charged with the lives of others. Devotion. Your honor is bound to your lord. To go against their command is to betray them entirely. There is no exception. Conviction. Do not waver in your goal. When you have set your mind to a task, your word is your honor. It is already done. Leadership. You are a beacon of light in the dark. Lead those around you. Ascendancy. Strive to be greater, no matter what peak you reach. There is no such thing as perfection. Okay. Those are very Paladini paladins, if one could say that. They look very Paladini. Like very just and rightful paladins. Okay. And the first spell is Cause Fear. An Entangle, Cordon of Arrows, and Earthbind. Erupting Earth and Hypnotic Pattern. Dominate Beast and Mordecai's Faithful Hound. Dominate Person and Crime. These, looking at the flavor text, I don't know if I would have put in these spells here, like, at all. Cordon of Arrows? Earthbind? Erupting Earth and Hypnotic Pattern? I would probably not have put those there. But let's see if the mechanics of the class work better with this. Channel Divinity. When you take this oath at 3rd level, you gain the following two Channel Divinity options. Undone Influence. When you or a creature you can see is targeted by an effect that can cause the charmed or stunned condition, you may use your Channel Divinity as your reaction, yelling out a command that helps your allies keep a hold of their senses. For 1 minute, you and any creature you choose within 30 feet are immune to being charmed or stunned. During that minute, you can use your bonus action to end an effect causing a creature within 120 feet to be charmed or stunned as long as they can see or hear you. This is very far. This is a big, massive aura. It starts at 30 feet. At 3rd level, this is a massive aura. And then 120 feet of a creature that can hear you as a bonus action? Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not really common conditions, charmed and stunned, unless you're fighting like a monk. But yeah, it's really big aura. Rite of Sacred Authority. As a bonus action, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you may use your Channel Divinity to ignite runes burned into your weapon, which remain active for a minute. All attacks with that weapon while the runes are active deal an extra d6 radiant damage and score a critical hit on a 19 and 20. Paladins getting easier crits, scary, very scary. I was just making sure that the loud noises coming from outside couldn't be heard by my microphone, and apparently they cannot, which is good. Within the minute the runes are active the first time each turn you hit each creature. Wait, what? Within the minute the runes are active. Okay. The first time each turn you hit each creature, you make a melee weapon attack with that weapon against. Holy wording, Jesus Christ. The first time each turn you hit each creature, you make a melee weapon attack with that weapon against. Why is it worded so strangely? It's just whenever you hit with that weapon, they make a save or are stunned. If the creature succeeds a saving throw or has already been stunned this way within that minute, they cannot be stunned this way. The stunned creature repeats the saving throw at the start of each of their turns, and if they succeed it or take damage, they are no longer stunned. When the rune effects end, all stunned creatures cease being stunned at the start of their next turn. Okay. So you're giving the paladin extra damage, the chance to stun, and creating on a 19 and 20. Once per long rest, because I think that the Channel Divinity for paladins is once per long rest. Unrelenting Arrest. Starting at 7th level, when you grapple a creature, you may use a bonus action to restrain them until the start of your next turn. While they are restrained this way, they have disadvantage on ability checks made to break free. As long as it's the same size category as you, or smaller, you can move up to your full movement speed while moving them, instead of half. You may use a bonus action each round while they are grappled to continue to restrain them in this way. A free restraint. Free restraint. And disadvantage on ability checks to get out. God damn. It's truly an unrelenting arrest. Guardian Influence, 15th level. Starting at 15th level, as a sworn protector of the people who stand as a beacon above them, you are trained for split-second decision-making when the situation calls for it. Also, I just noticed that this is an aura-less paladin. It doesn't have an aura at 7th level, and it won't have an improvement of the aura at 20th level. When one or more of your allies are unconscious and dying, while you can see or hear them, when you make an attack roll, strength or dexterity based ability check, you roll a d4 and add it to the result. You do not gain this bonus if they are stabilized or dead. If one or more of your allies die while you can see or hear them, on your next turn you can move an extra 30 feet. Every time you make an attack roll or ability check on that turn, you roll a d10 and add it to the result. So you get angry when your friends die. Okay. You cannot gain this benefit from this feature as effects if your awareness of the creature triggering it is interrupted. You only need to be able to hear the creature briefly on your turn to be able to trigger its effect for that turn. So yeah, you get Engi. Ultimate Right of Authority. Starting at 20th level, when you use a Right of Sacred Authority, your critical range becomes 18 and 20. Oh, okay. They just went from occasionally having a 19 to 20 crit range to occasionally having full champion crit range. And your weapon deals a d10 radiant damage instead of a d6. While your right is active, you may take one additional weapon attack with the affected weapon each round. You may attempt the stun effect multiple times against individual creatures, even if they succeed the saving throw during that time. but can only attempt it against each creature once per round and cannot stun them multiple times during the same use of the right. So like if you hit and they succeed, you can try again. But if you hit, they fail and are stunned, you cannot stun them again. Okay. When you stun a creature with your Right of Sacred Authority, it has a holy mark burned into them. While stunned this way, they take 1d8 radiant damage at the start of each of their turns. This does not end the stunned effect. When they stop being stunned for any reason, the rune explodes into searing light and the creature makes a Charisma saving throw. On a failed save, they take 5d10 radiant damage. You can use a bonus action on your turn to cause any of the runes to explode ahead of time, ending the stun effect. Okay, so if you're fighting a big fiend or a big undead at 20th level, which is possible considering a big fiend can be like Tiamat, you can do 68 doubled because you crit, plus 2d10 plus a d10 doubled because you crit, and then force a stun save. They will of course succeed and then you can keep trying again, but they will take 12 d8 radiant damage plus 2d10 radiant damage plus your weapon damage, plus if for some reason they do get stunned, you can just use your bonus action on that same turn to destroy the thing and do an extra 5d10 radiant damage if they fail a charisma save. Hey, it's quite powerful. Also, but the most important part is this thing right here. You increase your crit damage and you deal a d10 instead of a d8. Your crit range. Increasing crit range for paladins is very scary and very powerful. Yeah, it only lasts a minute, but at 20th level, your fights will be like once per day, if you have any fights left. Yeah, this is Oath of Authority. It's nice. It's a bit not what I was expecting from Authority. They seem like a bad cop instead of an authority figure. I thought an authority figure would have more of how can I say this? Things that allow them to stop people and make people better, and they can't really do that. Maybe I was thinking of leadership instead of authority, because leadership goes more along the ways of what I was thinking. But yeah, it's an interesting class. We've already seen the Grey Arrows, we've already seen the Drag Ladders. Now let's go to the Sorcerer. The Idolic Cosmologus. Sorcerers with the Idolic Cosmologus origin is one that has a bloodline reaching back to the Eidolons of Summoner's Domina, which means that this subclass is setting specific. Before ascending to become the Eidolons, they were 12 mortal beings. The 12 were mortal beings. When blessed with divinity and raised up to the status of godhood, those related to them were also touched by a fragment of their power. Those who have that blood in their veins can manifest unique powers. Okay. Cosmological Shard. Starting at first level, you have a connection to the natural domain of the Eidolon you share power with. This power, a spark of power called a cosmological shard, manifests as the ability to manipulate that element. Depending on the Eidolon you possess a shard from, you gain resistance to one damage type, and gain one spell you can cast once per short rest without expending a spell slot. It's per short rest, which means you will always have this spell. You also add those spells to your spell list and may cast them as sorcerer spells. I will not try to pronounce any of the Eidolon's names, but we have 1 for poison, 2 for force, 1 for psychic, 2 for radiant, 2 for cold, 2 for thunder, 1 for lightning, and 1 for fire, and 1 for psychic. If I were to choose a free spell each short rest, invisibility, aid, and magic weapon would probably be the ones that I would choose. Disaster die. Okay, disaster die. Starting at first level, when a hostile creature deals 10 or more damage to you on a single attack, or deals damage equal to or greater than half your maximum hit points, which, yeah, because 10 hit points on first level, a sorcerer is dead, or at least on the floor. You gain a single disaster die. You cannot gain a disaster die if the creature is attacking you with only the intent to generate one, or if a feature resistance reduces the damage below 10. The disaster die is represented by a crackling mote of energy that shifts around you erratically, giving off 5 feet of dim light, waiting to be invested into a spell. All of your disaster die disappear 1 minute after you fail to generate any new ones. You can hold a maximum number equal to your proficiency modifier. Okay, 2 at first level, 6 at max level. When you cast a spell, you can expend and roll a disaster die and add it to the spell's attack roll, or force one creature targeted to roll it and subtract it from their saving throw. Okay, you may decide to do this after you see the result of the attack roll, but not once you know the result. Oh yeah, I was about to say, what die is it? Alternatively, you can expend 1 disaster die at any point to use it as 1 or more sorcery points. You can only use a single disaster die this way per turn. You cannot expend the disaster die to regain expended sorcery points, only to generate ones that must be used immediately. Unspent sorcery points from disaster die disappear at the end of the turn they were generated on. Okay, neat thing that you can just create, use, okay. At first level, your disaster die is a d4 and is worth 1 sorcery point. Then it becomes a d6 and worth 2 sorcery points at 5th level, a d8 and 3 sorcery points at 10th, and a d10/4 sorcery points at 15th level. Neat. Very neat. Being able to, at first level, roll a d4 to retract saves, or I think it's just saves, right? Oh no, attack roll as well. It's quite good. And also, 1 sorcery point isn't much a level 1, or level 2, or level 3, but it may help you to get the sorcery points you needed to use to create a spell, or maybe get the sorcery points you needed to use a meta magic. So it's neat. And the 4 points at 15th level is quite good. Horologic Turbillion. I do not know what those 2 words mean, but they are neat. Starting at 6th level, you gain the ability to channel your natural control over the environment and conjure up a storm of your element. You require 1 free hand to use this feature, but it's not considered a spell or magical. As a bonus action, you can spend any number of sorcery points, minimum of 1, up to a number equal to the highest level of spell you can cast, which means 1 at 6th level it's 5, at 7th level, no, at 6th level would be 3, at 7th level would be 4, and it goes like that. If you do create a you create a 15-foot radius sphere of your cosmological shard element, the horologic tourbillon, until the start of your next turn. So you create a bubble. Any creature that enters the bubble for the first time on their turn or starts their turn in it must succeed a saving throw determined by a cosmological shard element, see below. On a failed save, they take 1d8 poison, 1d8 points of damage determined by your cosmological shard, for each sorcery point you use to create a tourbillon. Okay, so if you use it like at 6th level and you use 3 sorcery points, because it's the maximum you can go, any creature that enters must make a save or take 3d8 damage. Okay. For Code, Force, Poison, Thunder damage, the save is Constitution. For Psychic is Intelligence. For Fire, Lightning, Radiant is Dexterity. Okay. Intelligence save. Oh my god. And you have Zone of Truth for free. At the start of your next turn, you may choose to use a bonus action to maintain the tourbillon for another round by spending half the amount of sorcery points you used to create it, minimum of 1. Ah. I see. So it deals a lot of damage and then it shuts down. On the same turn that you maintain the tourbillon, you can spend 1 additional sorcery point as part of that bonus action to fire part of it as a 50-foot line originating from you, forcing all creatures in the line, probably a 5-foot wide line because it doesn't say, to make a dexterity saving throw. Creatures that fail the save take the same damage as if they were in the tourbillon, and those who succeed take half as much. Okay. So you create the bubble, protect yourself. Next turn you shoot the bubble. This is actually quite interesting. Each additional turn, this tourbillon is active, and each time it is fired as a line, its damage is reduced by a d8. It cannot, under any circumstances, be extended to exist longer than a minute, even if the caster somehow has sorcery points to invest at that point. Okay, yeah. This is a very, very nice 6th level feature. Just imagine 17th level, a 17th level psychic, idolic cosmologous sorcerer, expending 9 sorcery points to create this bubble of psychic energy that deals 98 points of damage, and then they fire it on a line and make dex saves against it. It's quite, I like it a lot. Disaster Shaping. Starting at 14th level, you gain additional control over the motes of energy granted by your Disaster Die feature. You gain the following options. Cosmic Qualification. When an effect forces you to make a saving throw, you may use your reaction and expend a Disaster Die, which you roll and add to the result to the saving throw. You can do this after you see the result of your roll, but not once you know its outcome. Okay. You roll and add to the result. So you can protect yourself with your disaster energy. Disaster Helicoid. Oh god, why more geometry things? When you cast a spell that fires as a line, you may expend any number of disaster die, minimum of 1, to contort the spell's direction. At any point in the line, you may turn in any diagonal, horizontal, or vertical direction, and it extends the rest of the way from that point with the remainder of its range. What? You can make a lightning bolt curve? Okay. The line can overlap with itself if contorted enough, which means that you would need 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 to do a full square. Or actually, you can just do 1, it goes, then you do 1 and do this diagonal, then you do 2, do this diagonal, and then you do 3 and goes back. Okay. But when it does, the overlapping lines cannot be moving in opposite directions for more than 5 feet. A neat gimmick for a sorcerer. Yeah, they can just shape their lightning bolt like a tree. Like tree roots. Multiple disaster dice can be used to change the direction multiple times, once for each, but the spell effect cannot affect the same creature twice, even if the line overlaps them multiple times. You must be able to see where you turn the line. You can just fire it to a corridor and turn it and then turn it again. Makes sense. Enervating Smite. This is the name of a feature from another class. I don't remember which one. I think it was a Time Cleric, the Stillness Cleric. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you may expend any number of disaster die to roll them and add them to the weapon damage. Oh, the extra damage type is determined by a cosmological shard. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, you are a sorcerer. You aren't supposed to hit things with your weapons. But goddamn. This is a lot. This is like a mini smite. And Enervation Bolt. As a bonus action, you may expend 2 disaster die to gather 2 motes together and fire a bolt of cosmic energy at a target within 50 feet of you. You make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, you deal 3d12 damage. Okay, so you can have these shards fly against people and hit them. This art is amazing, as always. Grasp the Shard. At 18th level, you gain the ability to steal energy from the world around you for your spells, calling up the magical power from without. The magical power from without instead of within. Interesting. When you cast a spell of 7th level or lower, roll a d6 on a result of 1, which means 1 in 6 chance. You gain advantage on any attack rolls made as part of the spell, and your targets have disadvantage on their saving throws against the spell's effect. On the result of 6, you do not expend a spell slot. On the result of 2 to 5, there is no effect. Interesting. Very interesting. If the spell deals damage and you cast it without a spell slot, this way, which means you roll the 6, you may change its damage to the type determined by a cosmological shard feature. The form of the spell and its physical properties remain the same, despite the impossibility of the matter, and the saving throw made to resist it doesn't change, which means that you cannot make a 7th level psychic intelligence saving throw fireball, but you can make a 7th level for free psychic fireball. That is very nice. I like this Grasp the Shard a lot. And it's a good capstone despite the other classes having bad capstones. This is a good capstone. Once again, this art is amazing. Let me just put this like this so we can see the whole art. Look at this art. It's pretty. Go give them money so they can make more pretty art. Warlock, Pack of the Idolos, and the Crucible Mage are the only 2 left. But, sadly, this will have to wait. Let me move back here. This will have to wait us for our next stream. We have arranged with the players of the game that we will be playing here in this channel to have our session 0 today in half an hour, starting somewhat at half an hour. So we'll have to stop the stream earlier today, but it's for a good cause. It's the sooner we have this session 0, the sooner we can start preparing for the actual game, and the sooner we have the game. So many decisions will be made today, and I shall present them to you all when we reach our next live stream, which will probably be Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. And it will be the first live stream of 2021, because Friday is January 1st. So we will finish looking over this document, the last two subclasses, the Pact of the Idolos and the Crucible Mage. We will talk about the Sword Saint. Actually, I don't know if I'll talk thoroughly about the Sword Saint, because I want to see if the people are really going to play it. As this book is available for all of my players, if they want to play any of the classes, they can. That's why I went through it with stream, because I wanted to make sure that you guys were up to date on the things that are possible. So if there is a decision on the Sword Saint subclass, which probably there will be, considering that two of the players have already said that they really want to play a Sword Saint, so there will probably be a Sword Saint. We will talk about the two specific subclasses that they choose instead of the whole PDF, so as that you can also wish for something more and go buy the PDF, because it will help Logan, and helping Logan means more of these PDFs and more cool art and more cool games. So yeah, we shall return on the 1st of January, possibly, most likely. I hope I'll be here and able to stream, because I don't think I have anything planned for the 1st. So yeah, we'll have the document, and we'll probably start playing some things. We will go back to playing some things. Minecraft Dungeons, Hades, start some Sin Slayers. I got gifted Risk of Rain 2, so that may also appear. So yeah, or we can, and we will also, I think, yeah, on the 4th of January, I am back at school. I won't change places, but I'm back at school. So content may be more, I may not be able to do all the streams that are on schedule, but I will try my hardest. And whenever the game starts, that is a guaranteed stream. There will be game streams. We'll probably play either twice a month, every 14 days, or or 1.5 times a month, and by that I mean once every 3 weeks. So yeah, there will be games. We will be back on 2021. I hope to see you all back here again, and I also hope that you are interested in the Somnus Dominus subclass pack, and if you are, go give them a buy on DrivethroughRPG. Looking forward to more streams. Thank you, Shade. You're a good bean. I hope you have a wonderful day at your job today. So, I will be seeing you all around. And merry, how do I say this? Merry end of the year, happy end of the year. That you have a good stroll around the sun once more. Bye bye.